Welcome in to another edition of The Meltdown. Scream Queen Neve Campbell returns to the role of Sidney Prescott after finally getting paid the big bucks. Speaking of money, Christopher Nolan has a chance to make even more off of Oppenheimer this upcoming weekend. Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia introduces a new twist that may affect our defending champion. And Lunce's List looks to highlight some of the best casting decisions in television history. It's all straight ahead right here on The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting from the Culver studio.
Two big boys in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes up a meltdown. It's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown. Let's start.
To all of our loyal Meltdonians, you are the best. Whether you're currently watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, or Twitch, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate you being a part of our chat. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button for us as well on YouTube. The other half of The Meltdown, that's John Lunsford, who has a very tough Lunce's List task later today. John, are we on the same page that this will be a tough list?
So it's an easy list. That's the thing. Sometimes there's lists that's like the first 4 slam dunks and 5 is impossible. And it's all about, well, what are you going to put number 5? I know what you're going to put number, 1. And then there's some lists that it's like, boy, I'm struggling to come up with 5 because it's just not my thing. Because when you do them every day, sometimes it's not always my thing. And then there's some lists where I can come up with 5,000 answers for this, but I have to bring it down to 5. This is one of those lists to me. Now, it's not 5,000 answers, but I mean, there are some I will literally write down 100 things, and there are some I'll write down 50 things, and then some I'll write down 30 things. This is one of those that's kind of in the 30 to 40 range of just let me rattle things off. Oh, man, I got to choose 5 of these.
Can I guess what the list is?
Not yet.
Okay.
But at some point today you can. Making my way over to Tyler, producer Tyler. How's your world going? Are you all caught up on your rest? I know that you've been watching a lot of media. You've been watching a lot of new things and trying to ingest as much as possible. Are you all caught up?
Haven't caught up on Shogun yet. There was a new episode last night, and I might watch it tonight, or I'll see Bob Marley, or I'll take on both.
Ooh,
not sure yet.
That would be.
And Dune, why not? Just throw it in there too.
I'm holding off on the third watching of Dune until this weekend.
Triple feature there. And Rockstar, who provides our lovely intro theme and our Lunce's List theme, is here after a long day dedicated to the youth of America. Rocky, how does it feel to inspire the next generation?
Inspire is a big word. I don't think I inspired. EG went with me, and she did a much better job. She is so much more engaged with the kids. It was great, like to see the wave of emotion. They were in a choir room, so it was layered seating. And I was talking, and then you can kind of see the.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what do y'all do? And I'm like, I'm losing them. I thought that I showed a picture of me with and I never knew that I'd end up in sports media, and it was a picture of me interviewing Saban. Got nothing, and I was like, you never know where you're going to end up, and that's why we have Emily Grace, and she came in and she took over, and she was like, all right, who's an Alabama fan? All these kids, who's an Auburn fan? And then she just went off, and it's just like, wow, like she's so much more. I'm just not very inspiring.
As a touring musician, how much do you focus on faces within the crowd?
It depends. When you're starting your career and you're playing in front of a big amount of people, there have been shows where we did, I'm not going to name the album, but we were playing a show at Iron City. And I remember in the first 2 rows, there was somebody that was just, I don't want to be here, just like rolling their eyes when we'd sing. I do a song, like the set list is obvious. We're doing an album. You know it's coming next. But just like talking to his friend, like saying like either one of us was not living up to the potential. But
does that person work here?
No. No. But you focus on that person. Like it's just like, and he's not enjoying, but you see this person over here who's like having the time of their life and dancing when you should be focusing and engaging with this person. It's kind of like a stand-up comedian when you have that one person like, I cannot make that guy laugh. Why are you here? And you start focusing on him and you're ruining the show for the people that actually are enjoying it. So it's hard to, it doesn't happen a lot, but you do see somebody like this guy does not want to be here. His wife dragged him. So I'm going to try my best to get him entertained, and then you kind of lose it for the rest of the audience.
It's kind of like social media. That one
Correct.
negative comment is
Yeah.
something that if you're
Correct.
wired that way, you can focus on that one compared to the thousands of supportive comments. And that's why social media leaves a lot of people in an emotional rut. What's your philosophy with social media? I know we're getting deep here, but
Very
like,
deep.
is it similar to your philosophy with trying to make everybody in the crowd like you and happy and enjoy what you're doing on stage?
I don't know if y'all have noticed this. I don't post a lot. I don't engage a lot because I just don't. I've been on Twitter since we started this thing, so 2021. Still don't understand it. I know that our X, whatever the hell it is now. I can post a video, I'll post it, but I won't. And I'll like 4 days later be like, oh my God, I forgot to check. And I'll see there's a comment or 4 or 5 comments, and I'm like, that's on me. I didn't respond to. So that's how I approach it. But some people, that doesn't hurt my feelings. How about this? We do the lounge, and where I play on Fridays on the show. And some people will say that was great, or somebody like, oh my God, another song. This guy's he can't sing, he's not funny. That stuff doesn't really affect me anymore. Like, cause I know not 100% of people are going to like you. There are going to be people that say like they should only talk about sports. Why are they injecting this guy playing the guitar? He's not good. I get it. Not everybody's going to like you. And I think once I came to that conclusion, just like, so me on social media just getting killed by people, I'd be okay with it.
Well, here's what you should know.
Well,
100% of us in this room like you, and 100% of us in this room like your guitar playing. And you should know that.
Yes.
We've got your
am I
back.
included in the 100%? The problem
That
is,
well, I mean, it
I am
depends.
doubtful on the guitar playing.
100% of people
100
not named Sean. Yeah.
Okay.
100% of the 75%.
Okay. That's good. That's
good.
pretty good.
So we got your back.
Good. Thank you. Can I stay in here?
Does everybody love Rockstar?
75% of the time, you love him 100%.
Well, that's
of the
another thing.
time.
I'm not asking for comments
No,
either. Like I'm not like pleading. Like make me feel better about myself.
No, everyone talk about how much they love Rockstar in the chat. That's what we need. We
Send
need
it to my mom, please.
We need to build up his support system here on the Meltdown, because I promise you've got one.
By the way, speaking for the youth of America, my gift basket, Mentos.
All right.
I haven't had Mentos in years.
Do you remember the Mentos jingle?
The Fresh Maker.
Yeah. Can you reenact that for us? Do you remember how it goes?
Oh, now that you put me on the spot, because I think of the Foo Fighters video, Big Me.
Here's what I want you to do. At any point during today's show, if it comes to you, just start doing it. It doesn't matter what topic we're in. Just start doing the Mentos jingle.
I'm doing Folgers in your cup.
Thing is, I can like loosely kind of halfway remember it, but now I'm trying to think of like the specific.
I just know the end is Mentos, the Fresh Maker.
Yeah.
We got that part down. All right. You focus on that. I will focus on my trauma.
3 hours later.
Have you got it?
Something problem can comes, and the problem that I'm messing full of life. I'm listening better than me, I'm choosing out of me with mental fresh and full of life. Mentos fresh, fresh, don't spangle. Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the Fresh Maker.
I'm going to give you half credit on that. But
That's close enough.
it works.
That is the exact jingle, though.
God.
All right, go ahead.
There's a great Family Guy clip with the Mentos commercials, by the way. Just throw that out
It
there.
always goes back to Family Guy.
Tyler, it always goes back to Family Guy. Have you noticed that about John? It always goes back to Family Guy.
Oh, I'm aware. There's
Do you know the
always
clip I'm
a
talking
Family
about?
Guy clip.
Anybody?
No.
Anybody? Okay, I got to show it to you after the show.
John, what have I said? Your golden profession, the one where you're going to make just plainfuls full of money. What is that profession? Go ahead and unveil that to everybody.
I'm going to be DJing in a club out on the West Coast for like 12 billionaires, and it's just going to be Family Guy clips that I'm DJing over and over and
I
over
like
again.
that.
So what's the first thing I did? I pulled out my phone and said, there's actually a Family Guy episode where he DJs classic Family Guy lines into music, and it fits perfectly. It's that's going to be me one day.
Please do. Can I go to your Shark Tank pitch, please?
Yes. Yes.
Rockstar, if it makes you feel any better, people in the chat right now are talking about how much they miss EG being in your seat. So I don't know if that's I don't know.
Which one's EG?
EG's the one that was with you today that was on the show yesterday. So I don't know if
Nope.
I don't know if that's a confidence builder is all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. EG. I'll look that up.
Okay. Yesterday, I was heartbroken to hear that the Batman 2 had been delayed until October 2nd of 2026. I'm still working through my emotions over that subject. John, I remember the Batman being a movie you enjoyed even more the second time you watched it. Tell us a little bit about why it improved from viewing to viewing for you.
So it improved because one thing I don't like about all these superhero reboots is we got to go through every one of them again, their origin story. And this is the first time I can really think of with a major superhero that they just said, screw it, we're jumping right in. And we're just going straight to the story. And the first bit with the Riddler, when he first goes and gets that first victim, is shot great. And then that ultimately kind of introduces, hey, here's where Gotham is. Here's where Batman is. Set the scene of present day, not like Batman came out of this because his parents were killed. And then it didn't have to get into all that kind of stuff. It can just go, and the first time you see Batman, he's instantly fighting.
Yeah, this is year 2 of Batman. He's going right there.
Now, I think a year 1 very well done production on HBO Max or something like they do it with Penguin may be great. I don't know. And I know you've read that. I haven't read that. But that there's some other beforehand you might could do around the current Batman that we have with Robert Pattinson. But just watching it, I like that they get right into the story. It's a very well done story. I think it's a very well cast story as well. And I just like it.
Tyler?
Plus, we had a really bad Batman with Ben Affleck in the overall
That is correct. This
sphere
was a nice
of the DCEU.
breath of fresh air. Tyler, did you see the Batman and did you overall like it?
Oh yeah, I struggle sometimes to decide if I prefer Robert Pattinson's Batman over the Nolan Dark Knight movies.
Oh, so it's really that close for you, though.
Yeah, I prefer seeing the more like world's greatest detective Batman as opposed to him having all of the gadgets and tech.
Well, that was a major point of emphasis for this thought process behind Batman. Explore that detective side, and you get that, as John mentioned, right off the bat with the murder that takes place. The cinematography in the movie is beautiful. It is a little long in the tooth for some people, and I have heard that it being a very slow pace, very dark film, it can be difficult for them to be engaged. But I was obviously the entire time being a giant Bat fan. Have you seen the Batman from 2022, Rockstar?
I have, and I have a review upon it. I think I've told Lunsford about this. I thought it was 45 minutes too long.
Okay.
And I didn't like they used it in the trailer, but using Nirvana's Something in the Way, great. But they use it like 9 times in the film. It's overkill. It's a great for one scene only. Don't keep using it, and don't use it in the trailer.
I'm going to say it was used 2.5 times, not 9 times.
No, I guarantee you. Well, 9's exaggerated, but I guarantee it's more than 2. Because you're just like, I remember this like, this is so cool, and like, okay, they're doing it again. And that first time,
I do think for me it's because it was also the trailer too. So literally every bit of marketing up to it, you heard it, and then it actually appears in the movie. It's not like they'll use a popular song for a trailer and then it's nowhere in the movie. Oh, there it is in the movie. Oh, there it is in the movie again.
When Matt Reeves was trying to formulate what this version of Batman would be, that song, it just hit him in a way where he goes, this is it. And he just played it on loop. And in the movie, I guess he played it on loop as well.
My only other comment on it was that I remember is his first appearance as Batman when the subway thugs and all that stuff. It takes him, you hear the boots clacking, it takes him 2 minutes to make that entrance. And I was like, I get it. We know who's coming. Like, it's Batman. Oh my God, you can't be dragged. Like, it can't be like, God, I wonder who that is.
But wouldn't it have been great if it was somebody other than Batman? Yeah. It's like, oh, you fooled me.
Oh my God. So that's after all, that was a good movie, but just those 3 things perturbed me.
Rockstar yelling in the theater. Can we just cut to the chase, please? We get it. We've seen Batman
beats
before.
the bad guy.
And where the hell is Bruce Wayne?
Batman opened up 2 years ago this month, grossed more than $772 million at the global box office, which is a really nice haul for a first film of a franchise. And I say of a franchise because this is a rebooted franchise. It was streamed heavily on Warner Brothers Discovery's Max, and it logged a bunch of viewing hours there. There's a lot of appetite for the second one. Any excitement, John, on the Colin Farrell Penguin series on HBO? It's expected to debut in the fall of this year. Around October is what they're potentially eyeing for a release. It had been delayed, much like the original The Batman was, for different reasons. The Batman was delayed due to COVID. This was delayed due to all of the strikes in which we've seen. But Colin Farrell in this role, he crushes it. He looks great in the role. It's completely different from Danny DeVito's Penguin, which I said at this point would win an Oscar if it was up for contention. But it is dynamic and interesting, and it doesn't feel overdone the way Colin Farrell portrays his character.
So 2 years ago, Colin Farrell had 3 roles, 3 decent roles. He had Penguin, he had his role in The Banshees of Inisherin, which he was nominated for an Oscar for, and then he had his role in a movie called After Yang that was an A24 movie that came out right before Batman came out, like a month before Batman did. And After Yang was probably my favorite movie of those 3 because I'm a sucker for a slow-moving, pretentious A24 movie. But Penguin was by far the best role he played all year, better than The Banshees of Inisherin, where he's basically playing himself, honestly. Just a wise talking Irish guy. And then After Yang, he's basically playing himself, but more British sounding than Irish. Penguin, and I criticize this for the Oscars, that I say the whole reason, Bradley Cooper's going to win an Oscar is because he had a big fake nose on. Well, Penguin, a lot of it is the prosthetics that they use on him because he does not at all look like Colin Farrell. And when they first showed pictures, it's like, I thought Colin Farrell was supposed to be Penguin. No, you look at this picture right now on the screen, it ain't Colin Farrell. That's the Penguin. Now, he also embodied the character behind just the prosthetics that he had on, and the fact that he was a lot bigger guy than he typically is. So that then made me ultimately looking forward to a Penguin show up to the movie when that had already kind of been announced. It's like, I don't know if I'll watch it. I didn't watch Gotham. I'm not like super into Batman like you are, but once I see the portrayal, yep, I'm in.
I wouldn't have been upset if they had called this Oz, other than the fact we already have a television series called Oz, but he's referred to more as Oz in this than he is even the Penguin.
The Wizard's in none of these. I don't know what's happening.
My favorite Batman villain of all time is the Riddler. He was in this movie, but the Penguin maybe stole the show. Every scene he was in, the Penguin stole the show. Sick Nasty Heat brings up that car chase scene from the 2022 Batman movie, which is elevated even more by Colin Farrell and what he does in the role of the Penguin. What did you think of that performance, Tyler? It blew me away.
Oh, that car chase scene was amazing. I love Colin Farrell as the Penguin. He really brought it to life as like the mob boss of Gotham City, and you never really get to see that as in depth as you do in the Batman.
It was absolutely fantastic. I would have never thought about linking up that actor with that character. Your Lunce's list today is all about linking up actors and characters in television history, but Colin Farrell absolutely with a huge home run behind this character of the Penguin, and I think it's going to make for a very interesting 8-part series that's debuting, I think, in October of this year.
And I think the way this Batman was done versus every Batman we've had before, whether it's the Burton, Schumacher, or even Nolan a little more serious in tone. It didn't have the goofiness of comics like I feel like the original 4 did. But I feel like this one getting more to the comic from the detective side of things and getting more to the adult side of things is ultimately going to help all Batman media moving forward attached to this, because Joker is also not the same thing, but it's also a hard R product as well, that all of that's building a new Batman that's different. Not that Batman hadn't been dark. It's always been dark, but it's like more adult now, and it's more rated R now. And I don't know how much they're going to really get into it in the Penguin series as far as like violence and sex and all that kind of stuff that they could, because he is an underworld, boss to where you could get into that kind of stuff.
I think it's going to be a no-holds-barred series.
But that's what it needs to be.
I think it's going to be.
The more they do that and the more they do it with the future Batman properties in general will be better, I think, for the franchise.
So was Zack Snyder right then when he said Batman needs to kill and Batman needs to be that kind of character?
No, but his villains definitely need to look like they can go off at any point.
The thing is, Batman never has to. I mean, even in the Nolan ones, Batman was never going to kill. His whole thing is, I'm absolutely not going to kill, and he stops Catwoman from killing in the third one and all that kind of stuff. But if the villains, if Heath Ledger's Joker had gone crazy, like legit on screen doing certain things, that wouldn't have taken me out of character for the movie. The whole point is Batman's supposed to be the shining example that he doesn't do anything. He doesn't need to kill people. He doesn't need to be R.
Keaton's Batman existed before the internet, where you couldn't get that immediate feedback. But there is no doubt in my mind, having rewatched those films countless times, that Keaton's Batman kills in his franchise. He kills in both movies. He's shooting machine guns down the main strip of Gotham in the first one. In the second one, he throws a clown into a sewer after strapping dynamite to him. He's dead. It's not just a Zack Snyder issue, right? But now the internet exists and people have strong opinions that they can voice at any point. And Zack Snyder's Batman deliberately went out to maim and kill. He branded people with a bat symbol for fun.
He's wanting to take, hey, I'm the guy that's done 300 in Watchmen and all that, and now I'm doing Batman. So that's a total, if you kill somebody when you're fighting, Robert Pattinson could have punched somebody out that ended up, killing him, and
didn't have health insurance.
Even Christian Bale could have potentially done something like that, and plenty of people die in those movies, obviously. But it's not, hey, we're going to make it ultra violent. We're going to make him be sadistic in the way that he's killing people.
Zack Snyder turned Superman into a killer at the end of Man of Steel, and it was one of those situations where it's what else is he supposed to do? And it was supposed to create this complex sort of dialogue. And instead, it just divided people one way or the other, whether or not thinking it was trash or whether it was great.
It's actually the one thing I liked from Man of Steel, because it was a tough decision, and you thought there's probably something that went into this, ultimately making this decision. The rest of the movie wasn't really good up to that point. but I like that he did it.
But
in
it
that movie.
didn't create the
But
conversation that they wanted it to, and then they doubled down on bad decision making
Right.
with Batman v Superman and the Martha sequence. Did anybody like the Martha sequence? I mean, are there defenders of that?
Yeah.
It's his mother, Martha.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. James Gunn's Superman, it opens up July 11th of 2025, and Gunn has another Batman movie in the works, Batman Brave and the Bold, with the Flash's Andy Muschietti directing. Robert Pattinson will continue to play Batman in Reeves' universe. The role of Batman will be freshly cast for Muschietti's Brave and the Bold film. John, what is your current level of confidence in James Gunn's DC tenure?
So there's 100% confidence, and then it goes all the way down to 0% confidence, and I'm about -3.
That's not very confident.
And you loved Guardians.
I love Guardians, but I have not liked anything else that he's done. Not that I've seen a lot of things that he's done, because he'll do some horror and stuff like that I won't touch. But it doesn't seem like most of it's well received outside of Suicide Squad, which is still like, well, compared to the first, it's hard to go down from that because you were at about 0% for the original Suicide Squad. But I have no faith in this. Now, part of me is like, I'm going to continue to have no faith no matter what I see, because then I'll be pleasantly surprised if it's good. You go with low expectations, and then you probably come out a little higher because I want it to be good. I want everything that I go see to be good. I just have zero faith in what they're going to do because the whole thing has been a train wreck from the beginning, and they're showing with the Batman and Joker right now, you can do good individual movies. You don't have to build a universe. And from day one, they're going to say, we're going to do another universe.
Rockstar, one thing I think you're really good with is audience psychology.
Yeah.
You're a performer.
Right.
In my opinion, and you can tell me if you think I'm way off base here, the one superhero that right now is the toughest to get over with an audience and have them on the same page that it is a well-done job is Superman, because of how overpowered he is and how old school he appears. Audiences these days have different levels of expectations going into their superhero movies than they did back in the Christopher Reeve era, when they would just impress that, oh, that's a helicopter being lifted on screen. That's not good enough now. What do you think is the mindset behind making Superman work for modern day audiences?
I don't. I just know that to me, I feel like he's the original superhero. He's the first, like the first one you notice is Superman, my age. That's the first movie I ever saw superhero-wise. It's so hard because Superman's supposed to have everything. He's supposed to be able to do a weakness of kryptonite. But like Batman there's weaknesses, but Superman, like the guy can change time by flying around the earth,
right?
Change the rotation of the earth. So there's so much to do, and there's so many people that I want it to be something that my kids could go see. Well, no, I want something where I want Superman to kill. I want something dark, and you can't appease everyone. And I think that, and Superman is just, I don't know, there's few people I know that their favorite hero is Superman. Please tell me that's yours.
No.
After all these
Batman
superheroes out there, I know one person I used to work with that was obsessed with Superman, but I don't feel there's a ton of Batman love, there's a ton of X-Men and Deadpool and all this stuff, but I don't see somebody like, dude, Superman's where it's at.
Superman used to be where it was.
Yeah, because that's why I feel like he was the original, the movies and everything. Then Michael Keaton's Batman came out. So I've never been a big Superman guy.
I just hope they don't make the mistake with this film that they made with, and I'm not going to say Man of Steel, I'm going to say Superman Returns, where we're just going to bring back that look that you know, and we're going to keep it classy, and we're going to have that modern day retelling of a fight you've seen a bunch between him and Lex Luthor, and they're going to bring in Krypton, and they're going to do throwbacks to the Christopher Reeve era in very not so subtle ways. That did not work for modern day audiences back in 2006. I don't think it's going to work here in 2025 when this movie is set to be released. Tyler, Superman, where would he rank in your list of favorite superheroes right now?
Among like all the big ones, close to the bottom, like almost dead last for me.
And why is that?
He's just so boring to me.
Boring.
Like,
okay.
He flies around, and his weakness is a rock.
He's a good reporter, though. You got to give him that. Like, that dude's working double duty.
I just like how we put a Superman thing right next to Tyler, and he's like, I hate Superman.
I have great
That's a Shaq
nostalgia.
symbol.
I just now noticed.
I have great nostalgia for Superman and that era. I just wonder if it is a bygone era. The John Williams score, I think it's actually his best score. If you take all of John Williams' music of all time, that Superman theme and that Superman soundtrack, and everyone's got their favorites, but I feel like it hits on so many different levels, and they've never been able to come up with another theme for Superman that sounds like, oh, that's definitely Superman. People recognize that theme all over the world. It's important to get the theming right. In this, it's important to feel like it's a fresh start. John, I think this is the toughest movie to make and get right that is currently in production anywhere in the world or is slated to take place. Everything, the future of DC, the future of superhero cinema, the future of this character all relies on this movie being done right. The amount of weight and pressure, no matter your lack of confidence in James Gunn, you've got to admit the job itself is one that only someone who is a crazy super fan right now can truly take on and try to get absolutely correct.
Well, we talked about like J.J. Abrams being that person for a long time that, okay, he's the one that can come in and save it because he's one of the best directors and he could potentially do it. I don't know that anybody can accurately do it right now. That's not my 0%. It's not all in James Gunn. It's partially in James Gunn, but it's in just you can't superhero work back in the day because it was a much simpler time of what you were watching on the screen. So literally anything, like I said, you can pick up a helicopter. Oh my God, Superman has to literally do everything in the universe now to even remotely try to entertain you, and that's just not realistic from a actually creating a movie standpoint. And so you're never. I mean. Outside of something like, and I don't know that I would ultimately say it's successful, but I feel like it had a long run. Outside of something like a Smallville that gets away from focusing on just Superman being a superhero, but it's more about the person that he was.
Lois and Clark, that was a good one too.
Like, I mean, I never watched any of that kind of stuff. I just know some of that had a decent run. And I
my
feel
least
like,
favorite part of Smallville was like them trying to work in kryptonite into the storyline. It's like, oh, Clark had kryptonite in his Jell-O today at lunch or something like that. It was tough.
but I mean, I feel like it had a decent long run. But it's not about just he's got to be Superman and go save the day every single time. The more deeply personal stories, that's what makes something like Batman work. That's what makes Joker work. You're getting away from all that with Superman. It's how powerful can Superman be? There's a rock, and that's pretty much it.
I'm biased because I'm a Batman fan, but this is a sad statement. They can get multiple Batmen right at the same time. 3 different Batmen happening, 4 different, 5 different, depending on which era we're talking about, all at the same time, and they're going to be adding more Batmen. They can get all those characters right, and audiences will accept it, but they can't get Superman alone correct. And that is how tough of a challenge this is going to be for James Gunn. I am rooting for James Gunn. I think, John, you are rooting for James Gunn to get this right. We as an audience will win if we walk out happy and pleased with how they portray this character and getting him back to the top of the leaderboard in fandom. I like Superman a lot, I do, but this is a tough task, and to say it isn't is foolish for anyone who thinks this is just some dream project that's an easy layup. It is the toughest task to get correct. I was so heartbroken about the Batman that I couldn't even get back to being happy yesterday that Neve Campbell has returned to the Scream franchise, but I am a big fan of this development. John, I preferred the NYC set Scream 6, much, much more than the Woodsboro set Scream 5, which was just called Scream upon release. Scream 6 did not include Neve Campbell due to a dispute over money, but Scream 7 has been in production hell since losing both cast and crew members following offset real-world drama. I know you don't love this series, but your wife definitely does, which means you'll likely be seated for opening night of Scream 7 starring Neve Campbell. Is it time to finally kill off Sidney Prescott?
Yes, because I feel like all the talking around this, even though they've ultimately switched main characters, she's not the main character anymore. It's Jen Ortega and her sister. I can't remember the girl that plays her, but like they were the main characters essentially the last 2 times, with Sydney being in the background, with Courtney Cox being in the background,
now that
supporting
shifts.
characters. So it has to shift now because you also ran everybody off from the last couple of movies. So, I mean, sure, I'm glad she's back. I like the New York setting better because I'm just a New York person in general. So I just like that backdrop of everything Marvel that takes place in New York. Everything takes place in New York. But I honestly don't care because I really don't care about these movies. Okay. But
I had a feeling that would be your answer. But yeah, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you for being honest. One thing that I am happy to see, and it kind of got buried with the Neve Campbell news yesterday, is that Kevin Williamson is also returning to the franchise as the director of Scream 7. He's written a number of things I appreciate, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty, and Fox's The Following, which was a really underrated television series starring Kevin Bacon. He's also the writer, creator, and executive producer on Dawson's Creek, Williamson provided a treatment for one of the better Halloween sequels and Bobby Boucher's personal favorite Halloween movie, Halloween H2O. He also wrote my 2 all-time favorite Scream movies in Scream and Scream 2. He's not currently attached as the writer of Scream 7, but he is coming on board to direct. Were you a Dawson's Creek fan at all?
No, I think I saw, I've seen an episode and a half, and that's another thing about me. I've never seen an episode of 90210. I've never seen an episode of Melrose Place.
For you, the 90s ended at that point in time.
I was more of a, I never saw an episode of ER. Like I was saw some Friends, saw Seinfeld, but I just never got into the teen drama, that kind of stuff.
I think Ghostface, there's still a lot of life left in this character because a different person is behind the mask every single time. You can just keep it going. It's the truth there.
Well, I saw Scary Movie 2 was fantastic with David Cross. That's one of the Chris Elliott. That was a great film.
I was going to go to Tyler until he's like, yeah, it's good. I don't.
Out of the Scary Movie franchise, Scary Movie 2 is where it's at.
Tyler, are you a Scream fan?
I am. My favorite's the original. I love Matthew Lillard's character.
Is he going to come back as Stu, you think, anytime soon? There's been rumors.
I hope so. I know he's busy right now working on a new Scooby-Doo project.
Yes. Oh, God.
Oh,
yes. Even I would say Scream's
happy.
Better than that.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, am I right?
One thing that used to make me scream was going to the dentist. Whew. But not anymore, thanks to Alabama Dental Associates. Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian, they make sure all of their patients are treated with the best care available. I've been a loyal patient at Alabama Dental on Grants Mill Road, and I've enjoyed my experience there each and every time. You don't want to go to the dentist and feel like you're in a slasher movie. They will not treat you that way at Alabama Dental. They have the friendliest and most professional staff in the business. You'll hear it for yourself when you call and make an appointment at 205-956-8977. That's 956-8977. The entire team ready to help you with all of your dental care needs at alabamadental.com. It's being reported by Variety that Christopher Nolan took home just south of $100 million. That figure represents a combination of salary, back-end compensation, box office escalators, and a bonus for his twin Academy Award wins. The Universal film nabbed 7 Oscars total on a budget of $100 million. It earned $958 million worldwide, which is a huge sum of money considering the R rating and the 3-hour running time and the subject matter. Oppenheimer's being re-released in 1,000 theaters this weekend with its Best Picture status newly minted on the film. That should run up the film's final box office tally and eclipse that 1 billion threshold, thus triggering the additional bonus for the director. This film continues to make money, John. It continues to pay out big things for Christopher Nolan. But, John, that's not the conversation here. The conversation is, what will Nolan do next? Because all eyes are going to be on Chris Nolan and what's going to be promoted under his umbrella. And not only what will he do next, but who will he be working for? He's had all the success with Universal, but he's a Warner Brothers guy. That's the place that made him a star. That's the place where it's home for him. And no matter how bad he feels like that relationship ended with the whole Tenet botching of that release during the COVID era, I think that there's a chance he may go back home to Warner Brothers. I do not think he'll go to Netflix, even though they would throw probably the most money at him to try to get him under the umbrella. But he cares about the theatrical distribution system too much to do that. What intrigues you the most about the future of Christopher Nolan now that we've gotten to the point of Oppenheimer fatigue for you?
What intrigues me the most about Nolan is what he has done post-Batman, but knowing he did, for me, the best Batman in general. Not that Christian Bale is the best Batman, not that, even Heath Ledger is the best Joker, but that the overall trilogy is the best overall piece of Batman I think we've ever had. And is he ever even remotely going to touch a water like that ever again? Because I would not think he would, but that's what the vast majority of people, even with Oppenheimer, know him from, is doing Batman. So, and of course, that's what got the first Oscar for him for a movie with Heath Ledger winning. So I just have always been curious, like there's some angle like that. And I would not take Bond if he did that and put it in the same category as Batman, but I would from the sense of he's going to a pre-established franchise and saying, hey, let me correct this. Let me do this next, group of three. It may just be 2 or 3 movies. It may not be as much as the other Bonds have been.
You know how much I would love that? I mean, if that
I know
ever
you
gets
would.
announced, interrupt me at any time, Tyler. If you ever see Christopher Nolan has signed on to direct the next Bond movie, that is my dream, my hope, my
It is Bond. He's
aspiration.
doing. Oh, it's a Gold Bond commercial though.
Gosh, okay.
I bet it's,
But his so while people I think most know him for Batman in general, and while that's maybe to a lot of people his best work, The Dark Knight is a lot of people's best movie of all time, much less their best Nolan movie. But also for me, the Interstellar angle of things that he did that critically it was not well received, and financially I think did okay. I really don't know where it was financially, but I think long term people go back and look at it and
great
say
film.
this is like what Stanley Kubrick did with 2001. It's like this monumental piece of its time kind of movie that will have a lot of legs to it. So what's your next sci-fi thing at that point? And I don't mean like Tenet sci-fi, more like space sci-fi.
John, Rocky, I think y'all will both be happy with what Tyler uncovered today in movie news. Tyler, unleash that information about Christopher Nolan.
This year is the 10th anniversary of Interstellar, and it will be released in IMAX 70 millimeter to celebrate the release.
And when is that happening?
This year.
Isn't it like June? Didn't you say June or something like that?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tyler, for that breaking news update.
Yeah, I'll go see it again in theaters.
film.
I mean, I saw it once in theaters before, and I've watched it a million times since. But I mean, it is his best to me, and I know there's a lot of movies that you can choose from with his, and you can add Oppenheimer to the list now for a lot of people. But I would love to see more of that from him. I will absolutely go see it in the theater when it comes back out. But there's a lot of paths he can take, and some of them are not the correct path, in my opinion. So he's got to. But paths I could see him potentially taking. So I'm just very curious what that is.
These moves have to be perfect, and I'm looking very forward to seeing what happens with his career. All right, John, one thing I'm also looking forward to, that is exactly how much success we're going to have on a program that we've been enjoying. It's been one that has been physician-led and consulted throughout, and we're very excited to be partnered up with our friends at Way to Wellness.
Yeah, go to aplanforme.com and check everything out there with Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team have done an incredible job with me. They're starting the job with Tim now. They've done an incredible job with Jim Dunaway from the next round. They've done a great job with my dad as well. He's worked with Leslie for a long time to get that weight off and keep it off. So go to aplanforme.com, learn more about Way to Wellness. Go in, get that consultation, see if it's the right program, and see what kind of plan they can come up with for you. As of today, I was 43.2 down, so slowly inching past that 40-pound mark now. And, I've actually gotten compliments on it now, so it's starting to show in little ways. The people that see me every day on the next round and here maybe can't tell quite as much, but I can tell in how I feel, moving around, just in general, the clothes that I wear, everything. So go to aplanforme.com and learn more about our friends at Way to Wellness.
We have Charles who writes in, finally saw Oppenheimer Monday night. It was great, and the awards are well-deserved. But I wish I hadn't waited to see it because I was influenced by all the hype. In my opinion, it wasn't amazing, just great. Okay, Charles, I'll give you half credit for that response. I'm just kidding. I'm glad you went to go see it, and I'm glad that you
I can understand
enjoyed
that,
it.
and the same thing with Poor Things. If you watch Poor Things now, I'll be like, that didn't live up to the hype because it got so much hype behind it.
We have Laurel, who's very excited about Kevin Williamson and saying they can't kill off Sidney Prescott, and that Patrick Dempsey's probably waiting for that call. Patrick Dempsey playing the husband of Sidney Prescott in Scream 3, and I'll be interested to see if he ends up coming back. He's been referenced. His character's been referenced in other Scream movies.
He was just the world's sexiest man because during the strike, nobody else could do it.
Yep.
Hey, if you think...
What's that guy from Grey's Anatomy 16 years ago doing? Yeah, let's get him.
Pretty much.
I think isn't he back on Grey's Anatomy, though?
I don't.
Am I
That
wrong?
show has
I'm
been
probably
running
wrong.
for
I honestly
30
have
years.
no idea.
I thought he came back maybe, and then I don't know.
I mean, he's not racing cars anymore. That didn't really work out for him either.
If you think we're McDreamy, give us a thumbs up.
Oh, God.
We'd appreciate it. I'm so sorry for all of these different things I say. We have Daniel wanting to know if Interstellar's only in IMAX or will it be in other types of theaters as well. Tyler, we don't even know when it is, but I'm going back to
I
you
didn't.
for
I didn't see any
information.
details on that, but I assume just check the AMC app.
I'd assume it's a thing Nolan is specifically doing
Right.
with IMAX because he did that with 2001. He refinished it, put it back out in IMAX theaters because I actually saw it in New York at IMAX. So it's probably something like that it's like a during the week. There's nothing much coming out that week. We can't put Dune on there again or something. So do that.
Sick Nasty Heat, top 5 superheroes. Number 5, Batman. Number 4, Flash. Number 3, Wonder Woman. Number 2, Captain America. Number 1, Green Lantern.
Doesn't surprise me at all for him.
You a DC fan at all?
We may get into that for a Lunce's list. I don't want you to answer with what your 5 would be, but
It ain't Green Lantern number 1. I can tell you that.
yeah. We do have a Lunce's list coming up today. I promise you that. But between now and then, we have a little thing called Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. Let me explain the rules. Has everybody got their notepad out?
Oh, my God.
Hold on, I'm making some notes.
Let's put the camera on Rockstar during this because I love watching how irritated he gets with the rules. There are 3 different opponents with 3 different ways to score points. Before each question is asked, there will be a wheel spin to pick who has possession of the round. Contestants will then pick a number between 1 and 295.
Oh, my
It's
God.
bigger now.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What did you add to it?
I believe it's 295.
It was 265
I'm sorry.
I think, last time.
I'm sorry, that number is wrong. Between 1 and 395.
Even
What are
the,
you doing?
even the creator of the game is confused.
You can't have
no,
395
I
different
just didn't
categories.
update what I needed to say.
Yeah.
Contestants will then pick a number between 1 and 395. I will then present a general category. Some of the categories will remain a mystery. The contestant in possession of the round can either choose to answer it themselves for 3 points, try to stump the competition by forcing an opponent to answer the question for 2 points, or, and I haven't figured out this part because I forgot about this little rule about using helpful thing, or you can consult the chat for the answer for 1 point. That's what we're going to do on the fly. But you can't look at the chat. Everyone who right now is looking at the chat, get off of the chat. I'm the only one who can look at the chat. If you choose to answer the question for 3 points and you miss, then you're deducted 3 points. If you choose to have one of your opponents answer the question, they give the correct answer, then you end up losing 2 points. They gain 2 points. And if you choose the chat and you do not get the correct answer, then you lose 1 point. I'm just going to pick one random person from the chat that happens to be on there. First thing I see.
Okay.
The player with the most points after 15 wheel spins is your winner. Each player is given 30 seconds to produce an answer once the question is read. If after 15 rounds we have a tie, we go to an additional round with the players that are tied to determine a winner. There are 2 new twists, Rockstar.
Oh, no. So we haven't introduced twist yet.
There are two new twists. There's now a free-for-all slice on the wheel that will allow the person who raises their hand first to wager 5 points, but if they get it wrong, everyone else competing gets 2 points. There's also a bonus spot on the trivia question list where
That's number 396.
you get to choose between 2 categories for your question if you land on one of the bonus spots.
How many bonus spots are there?
Is that a daily double?
Out of 395, is there 2 bonus spots?
Can I risk however many points I want?
Multiple bonus spots.
Okay.
Can I risk however many points I want on a bonus
No, you
spot?
cannot. And there's one more thing
Physical
I need to say.
challenge.
Well, Tim, I'd like to make it a true daily double.
One more thing I need to say. Our champion of this game is Spud. He won last week in a decisive victory.
He didn't have the twists.
The winner of today's game
That's right.
gives an advantage against Spud next week when he comes back to defend his championship. You get to go first in the game next week if you win today, which is a clear advantage in the game. You get to set the tone for how the game is going to start.
A minor advantage.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's a fair advantage because Spud's not here. Tyler, though, if Tyler wins today, Spud gets to go first on Wednesday. So that's the way it's going to work. Okay.
Tyler got screwed.
Have fun, Tyler.
Woo. Here we go. Is everybody ready?
No.
I think we've gotten all the rules. Has everybody got the rules down,
Just ask me a
Pat?
question.
I
get it
think
right
you
or
need to
wrong.
write them down.
Yeah.
I did write them down just for me. All right.
Send them to us.
All these posters, you can fill it all up with the rules of this game.
Let's go ahead and spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
All right. The first wheel spin is going to John Lunsford. Congratulations, John.
It's rigged.
What number would you like your question to come from?
70.
It's a good number.
Number 70.
It's my football number.
The category is geography. Would you like to take it yourself? Would you like to
I'll
pass
do
it to someone?
I'll do it.
3 points. Which country is the largest in the world? Which country is the largest in the world
By land size?
by land size?
I don't know if it's considered a country or not. Because I was going to say Antarctica, but I guess I'm going to say Russia.
The chat room is split on Russia and China. And the correct answer is Russia.
Russia's much bigger
Congratulations.
than, is Antarctica?
It's a continent.
But I know, like Australia is a continent country. Like I don't know if Antarctica.
Antarctica is split between like 12 different countries.
There you go.
Congratulations. That is the correct answer. John currently leads after one round with 3 points.
What do me and Tyler have?
0 points.
Okay.
We are going to spin again.
Oh, that's gonna change. Don't
This
you worry.
goes really quickly. All right, make sure you keep giving those answers in the chat. Next up, with possession of the wheel, that is John Lunsford.
Oh, good.
John,
See, this thing's rigged. I'm winning, and I still say it's rigged.
what number would you like,
I'm
John?
consistent. 170.
170. You like the number 70, I can tell. Why do you like the number 70 so much?
That was my football number in high
there you
school.
go. I knew the answer.
2 points?
This question is about minerals. Minerals. Would you like to take it yourself? Would you like to give it to someone else? Would you like to consult the chat?
I'll give it to Tyler.
Tyler. Tyler, for 2 points. What mineral can you add to water to make things float easier? What mineral can you add to water to make things float easier?
Mineral can you add to water to make it? I don't know. Calcium?
The correct answer is salt. Salt is the correct answer.
Oh, that
There's
There we
salt,
go.
calcium's in salt.
John, you have 5 points.
Sodium,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tyler, you're at
John's
-2, which
killing
is
it.
not good for Spud. Not good for
Just
Spud.
gonna pass all the rest of my questions and move on.
I'm spinning the wheel again. We are around number 3. And it is going to...
John?
Ooh, it's our first up for grabs.
Ah.
Our first
My hands
up
up
for
first.
grabs.
My hands up first.
Somebody in the chat, give me a number between 1 and 395. 1 and 395. Anybody in the chat, give me a number. Just any number at all. And I will then correlate that question over. Okay, here we go. First number, 27 is what was thrown out there by Daniel. We appreciate it. Number 27. This is a question about popular culture.
Ooh, me.
John is taking it. Congratulations.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be after the question. I was just joking.
It's after the
Okay, well, I'm raising my hand.
after the topic. That was explained in the rules. You raise your hand.
How many
after
points is
the
this
topic.
worth?
There was a ton of rules.
This is worth 5 points.
So I lose all 5.
Did you hear that part, Rocky?
This was mentioned. Go back and watch the tape.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
pay
get-
attention because I was going to get lost.
You get 5 points,
Yeah.
but if you're wrong, they both get 2 points.
Oh, okay.
But you raised your hand.
I'm in. Let's do
Popular
it.
culture. Here we go.
I'm in.
All right. What is the school's mascot in High School Musical?
Wildcats.
That is
Knew that
correct.
one.
That's correct.
East
John
High,
is-
East High Wildcats, I think.
John is up to 10 points now. Rockstar, you're still not on the board. What are you doing in this game? Come on.
I'm reviewing the rules. I haven't signed the document yet. Agreed to terms and conditions.
All right, spin number 4. It now goes to John Lunsford. John,
Tyler, do you want to go get something to eat?
I got to fix the wheel segment.
Yeah,
Give me
I
a
was the
number.
one that
You
hated the
grab
wheel the
me a
most.
drink.
Give me
We'll
a
still be
number.
here. It'll
I
still
still
be
hate the
John's
wheel the
number.
most. I'm gonna go to the chat and see. Did they were all throwing out numbers?
I said don't go to the chat.
I am now. Reed
Guys,
said
guys, we're all
24.
friends.
Reed said 24. So I'm looking at you now. I don't look
Okay,
at it when it's
this
happening.
is this is a mystery category. Mystery category.
Okay.
Ooh, Riddler.
Do you want it for 3 points, pass it off for 2, or go to the chat for 1?
I mean, I'm up 10-0, aren't I?
You are.
No.
10 to negative 2 to
10 to
0.
negative 2 to 0. Okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, here we go. How many points does the Star of David have? How many points does the Star of David have?
6.
That's correct. It's up to 13 points. John, just absolutely slaying y'all. I mean, y'all need to step it up.
Because I've gotten every question.
So, Tim,
Yeah, nobody else has gotten past the question.
Hey, are my complaints from last time valid?
All right,
Gatekeeper, is there a statistical chance that either of us can come back from this?
If I get it and keep
There
missing
is.
all of
Yeah,
them.
There
okay.
is a chance. We're now back into another up for grabs one here. Okay?
Okay.
Number 6 is the one that's been thrown out there. Oh, no, that was them answering. But we're going to go with number 6. This is a question about board games. Who wants... Oh, Tyler's taking it.
BORED. Go ahead.
For 5 points. In chess, what direction can a bishop move?
Diagonally.
That is correct.
I was
Tyler is up to 3 points now. He's
I was
10
gonna be
points
like,
behind
in the game
John.
Terraforming Mars, when you get to the third turn, you can do...
Guys, this isn't that tough of a game.
Who was the sound developer for F-Zero?
All right, we're moving on to question number 6, and the wheel has landed on
John.
Tyler.
Oh.
Tyler.
Oh.
Tyler, give me a number.
87.
Number
Good year.
87.
That's when I was born.
Astronomy is the category. Would you like to take it yourself or hand it off to somebody else or consult the chat?
I'll pass this one to John.
I went to space camp. I'm just throwing that out there.
John, which
Get out of this
astronomer?
world. Sorry.
John, which astronomer is called out in Bohemian Rhapsody?
Galileo.
That is correct. That is
I told you, I went to space camp. Come on, guys.
Y'all learned
I
about that
don't
in
think
space
you need
camp?
to- I don't
Scaramouche?
think you need space camp.
Tyler down to 1 point, John at 15. That was a proper category for that question. All right, we are spinning again.
Technically, yes.
Now going to
John.
number 7 here. Rockstar. Rockstar's landed on the wheel. Rockstar, what number question would you like?
Let's go with 32.
Number 32.
You burned all your spins last week.
This is about dog breeds.
I'll take it because I might as well not go again, so I'll take it.
What is the tallest breed of dog in the world?
I'll just go Great Dane.
That's correct.
That's what I thought it was.
3 points. Congratulations, Rockstar.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You're retiring?
I'm just tired.
Oh, okay. Gonna spin again. This is a neck and neck and neck game.
It is.
Tyler's got 1 point, Rockstar with 3, John with 15.
Yeah, it is a neck and neck. We all have numbers.
Y'all
yeah,
are in a
right.
great competition.
Tyler, the wheel has chosen you. What number would you like to go with?
15.
Number 15. The category is going to be children's books. Would you like to take it yourself, pass it
was a
off to
child.
an
I'll take
opponent?
it. Why
You'll
not?
take it? Okay. In one of the most popular Dr. Seuss books, what won't Sam I Am eat?
Good Lord.
Yeah, oh God.
I'm gonna lock in my answer with green eggs and ham.
That is correct.
That kid's a genius.
How many feet exactly
Yeah.
is the Empire State Building without
Yeah.
Spire on top?
Spud still whipped all of y'all with
Without
that
the-
question.
yeah, we got that one wrong.
He still whipped all of y'all.
Hey, I didn't play last time. I was only there for everyone to throw to.
What
and
was
no
the
one
cat
did.
in the popular Cat in the Blank Dr. Seuss book? I'm sorry. Continue.
Don't hate the game.
Hate the rules.
Hate the.
Hey, I'm winning.
Oh.
I'm still angry. But anyway,
It landed on Tyler. Tyler, what number? You have a
see,
chance to come back and win
here's
this
where the
thing.
comeback. See,
Yeah.
and I haven't missed a single question. So I hope you win, Tyler, because it'll totally throw. This
I
game
hope
off.
y'all complain the entire time we do this.
When's the first commercial break?
Let's go with 7. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Well, the 300s are getting lonely up there.
This is a mystery category. It's a mystery category. Would you like to take it yourself, or would you like to
Hercule
pass it, or would you like to go to the chat?
I'll take it.
Taking it yourself for 3 points. Globe and Jerusalem are types of what?
Can you repeat that?
Yes. Globe and Jerusalem are types of what? I'm looking for the category that both of these things would fall under.
Globe
Globe
and Jerusalem.
and Jerusalem are types of what? 5 seconds.
Plants. I don't know.
That's I was going to say
That's very
flowers.
close. So artichokes. Artichokes is the correct answer. Why are you laughing, Tyler?
Because
The questions range
Oh,
from
is it just-
what does Sam I Am not want to eat
That is
to
plain
name
ridiculous.
these types of artichokes.
He also doesn't eat Globe and Jerusalem artichokes, okay?
I'd hate to read that book.
John
to my kids.
Lunsford, what number here?
Oh, that chose me?
He chose you.
395, whatever the highest number is.
395. This is a question about the Earth. This is a question about the Earth.
What's the score?
You're currently up 15 to 3-1.
I'm going to give it to whoever has the one.
That's me.
It's Tyler.
Oh, I got
Rockstar, you have 3 for Great Dane.
Sweet.
Tyler, what percentage of the Earth's wildlife is found in the ocean? What percentage of
And be specific.
What percentage of the Earth's wildlife is found in the ocean?
3 decimal numbers in.
What's my margin of error here?
I will give you within 5%.
Okay. What percentage of Earth's wildlife is found in the ocean? I'm going to go 45.
Let's go 65.
Correct answer is 94%.
Oh, dang.
A lot of it has
94%.
not been discovered yet. A lot of it's just like not even been looked at upon. It's just vast.
So, Tyler, you're now at -1. And John, you're now at 17. I don't think you guys can catch up. So, I'm actually just going to ask one more question to get this over with. How does that sound?
Wow.
Or, I mean, unless the chat, do y'all want me to keep going? Do y'all want me to? I'll ask the chat. Should we go through the whole 15 or should we call it a TKO on behalf of John?
The wheel didn't land on the chat. You cannot talk to them.
I'm talking to the chat. I'll talk to the chat when I want to talk to the chat. I am the game master. I'm going to have to spin the wheel
Unfortunately,
anyway.
yes. Somebody said yeah, so.
Okay, I'm going to end it right here. I think it's just it's a TKO. I think everyone agrees. This is an up for grabs one. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here's the category.
This is 16 points.
I'm going to pick a random one. I'm going to go with 198, and it's going to be a question about United States geography. United States geography. Tyler's going to take it. Tyler, which 2 states in the United States share the most borders with other states?
Gonna go with
Start with 1. What's one that, because if you get that wrong, then it's over anyway. But
Wisconsin.
no.
Gatekeepers.
Tennessee is one of them.
Tennessee is one of them.
All right.
Anybody know the
is
other one?
Kentucky another one?
It's not.
Okay.
But you're around
I
there.
missed both of them. Though.
Colorado?
No.
Hawaii.
Missouri.
I was trying to go
Tennessee
further west, but I went too far.
and Missouri. So Tyler, you end up -6. John, you end up with 19 points. Rockstar, you end up with 5 points. We're not going to finish the game because this is a miserable experience. So, congratulations, John.
I'm sad one of y'all didn't beat me because I got every question right. And last time I was like, you just got all the questions right, you're going to win.
John, you get an advantage against Spud when he comes back into town. He's a champion, and he fears no man. I root for you to take him down in some ways, but in other ways, you complain so much that I hope that Spud comes in here and teaches you a lesson. So I'm conflicted.
I really only won because I got like 5 wheel spins in a row, but yeah.
Okay, that's going to do it.
Music ran out. Perfect timing. I can turn
That's going to do it for Triple Threat Trivia. I think we're all smarter for having experienced that lovely segment. Okay. Sure. One thing that will make you very smart about the real estate game, that is reaching out to our friend, Realtor Jim Wilson. With Location Real Estate, Jim has a client who's an active duty Marine that's looking for a 4-bedroom house in Jefferson County for $250,000 or less. If you're selling a property like this, call Jim at 205-329-4758. Jim's still active with the U.S. military. He's able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home. Jim's only happy when his clients are happy. Each of Jim Wilson's clients has his full attention and devotion to get what they need and want, not only during the home buying or selling experience, but every day after. He's an advocate for you. Whether you're buying or selling, contact Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate at 205-329-4758 or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. All right, it is now time to go from listings to Lunce's list. TV history is a very deep subject, but who would you say were the 5 most perfectly cast roles in the more modern era of television? Lunceford will now be sharing his personal expertise with us on this edition of Lunce's List.
What is this? What is this? Lunce's List. What is this? Oh. What is this? What is this? Lunce's List. Lunce's List. Oh. Lunce's List of 5. Lunce's List of 5. Lunce's List of 5. Lunce's List of 5. Yeah.
There's Rockstar singing about the number 5. Rockstar finishing with 5 points in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia.
I got one question.
It's almost like it was meant to be.
Got one question.
I've got to fix the game. Let's go to Lunce's list. But one thing you've got to fix, John, is the whiteboard because it's full of yesterday's list. So you handle that.
Okay.
You handle that. And we're going to go ahead and when you're done, just write number 5 up there. Once again, TV history, a deep subject. John is going to tell us exactly which 5 TV roles were the most perfectly cast in the more modern era of television. From what I've heard, this spans from the 70s to present day. So that's sort of where we're at, 70s to present day, of 5 actors that were perfectly cast in the roles in which they played on television. We're open in the chat again to receive some of your answers of who you think fits this bill. And John will have to lay out a bunch of arguments as to why these people made the cut. I'm going to give John an opportunity at the end of this segment to tell us who was 6 through 10, who barely missed. But right now we're going to jump right into it. Number 5, what are you guys seeing? Y'all seeing anything?
Daenerys Targaryen, played by Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones.
Okay. And no one will bash you too bad for misspelling this.
I think you nailed it.
I think that's right.
Congratulations there.
So there's a handful. So I only did one per show if I had multiple ones. There's a lot you could have gone with, I think, for Game of Thrones. But House of the Dragon does not exist without Emilia Clarke and Daenerys Targaryen being the same person. And without the role that she did on Game of Thrones.
It's a heck of a character arc all the way from season 1 to the final episode, basically.
And whether you liked what ultimately happened with her character arc or not, it was a massive character arc. She had to do everything in that show and was just absolutely perfect in portraying the character. The arguments and the hate for Game of Thrones, I feel like, even though I didn't mind it as bad as most people, has nothing to do with the people. It has everything to do with the story. So whether the people live out that bad story or not, that's not any slam on them. The other ones I considered were Peter Dinklage with Tyrion Lannister, and then Littlefinger. I thought Littlefinger was very well cast as well.
You're trying to keep it to one show per spot here, but Game of Thrones is an expertly cast show from start to finish for the most part. I don't know of anybody who stands out as a giant miscast in that series, but even the kid that got to play Joffrey, who was also in Batman Begins, you want to talk about someone who was perfectly cast.
Yes.
Everybody hated Joffrey.
Yes.
Everybody. All right, Daenerys Targaryen. I think the list is starting off very strong. I feel like there's way more conversation to be had once we get the full grasp of the list. So let's go ahead and move on to number 4. But Rocky, Game of Thrones, not something you're really
I
big
gave it a
into,
shot.
right?
I gave it like a Meltdown mystery trivia. When I started watching it, they introduced 65 characters and backstories, and I was like, nope, I'm out. So it's not that I have hate that everybody loves Game of Thrones. I just like I don't want to follow this.
Okay.
That's a good role right there. Good job.
That's a good pick too.
Saul
there
Goodman
for number
from
4.
Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
Better Call Saul, nominated for so many Emmys,
Didn't win a single one.
never getting a win, but the character lived on in both of these. Is this a way to sort of cheat in your mind of including both shows in one, or do you really truly feel like out of the entire cast of both worlds that Saul Goodman was the most perfectly cast?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of overlap between the two shows. I do think Better Call Saul was very well cast, but so in Breaking Bad, he plays Saul Goodman the entire time. In Better Call Saul, he's hardly Saul Goodman until pretty much the end. It's all about how he gets ultimately to that point.
Slippin' Jimmy.
Yeah. So I could have put, his actual name on there, but I went with Saul Goodman instead. I think Walter White, if you asked a lot of people, that would be near the top of for most people's lists.
I think Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul with Jesse Pinkman.
Gus
And
Fring.
I thought Hank was really well done and perfectly cast. I thought Skyler was perfectly cast as well. I think it probably has the single best cast of how people fit into the roles of any TV show out there. But this is the one that's the best. That doesn't mean that should be number 1 necessarily, because there may be individual people that stand above them. But I thought Bob Odenkirk, kind of the wisecracking, being a comedian more often than not, fit that role perfectly for what it was in Breaking Bad, which is why it got a spinoff that was even longer than Breaking Bad.
Were you a Breaking Bad fan, Tyler? I don't know when this hit in your life or if you ever circled back around to it.
I'm a major Breaking Bad fan. I haven't caught up with Better Call Saul. I've only a few episodes in, actually. But I loved Breaking Bad. I loved Saul in the show.
And didn't they have a spinoff movie as well on Netflix?
El Camino.
Yeah, it was about Jesse.
Okay.
It was after Breaking Bad takes place.
I didn't know who all was featured in that. All right, let's go to number 3 on Lunce's list, counting down the 5 most perfectly cast characters in the modern era of television. really going from like the 70s to now. That span, we're getting a lot of your chat reactions in here.
Oh, it's a bit of a
Another-
situation. Bit of a situation on this one right here.
That's not bad at all.
It's
I
not
I
bad.
can only do a couple terms. It's a bit of a situation.
That's good. I'm actually,
Appreciate
It's not
that.
bad.
if you talk like this during the trivia game, it'd be much more intense.
I
The-
don't understand any of the rules.
The wheel
the
may go your
situation.
way. Okay.
When you think of mobster, you can go to a lot of different things. You can go all the way back to The Godfather. You can go to Goodfellas. You can go to a lot of different movies. But for me, it's The Sopranos because that's what I grew up with from the perspective of once I got old enough to watch mob-based stuff. The Sopranos was starting, and so
And it was must-see TV every
it was must-see
Sunday night.
TV. I can remember watching the finale. I was in a hotel coming home from CES out in Las Vegas, and I remember my flight got delayed because it was really bad weather. So I was in a hotel in Atlanta watching on the world's worst TV. It was not super great quality. So when the ending happened, I legitimately thought my TV had gone out. So I went downstairs and said my TV went out because it held for, 10 seconds or something like that. And after the 5, I was like, I'm going to miss the end of The Sopranos. And I got mad, not realizing what happened.
My TV's got a bit of a situation. Need you to fix it.
If you could just talk that way the rest of the show.
It can be done. It can be done, but make it a little old. Make it a little old.
No, not yet.
Well,
It's getting better, actually.
What you gonna do? Huh?
Hey, how would Tony Soprano react to that bucket? What would he say about that bucket?
It's really weird. It's like a koosh ball. I was talking to my daughter, the Soprano, the other day. Was eating a big gabagool. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
That's the first time I've ever made Tim laugh.
That was a really good one. Hey, 5 points for you in the trivia game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You
You
still got destroyed. Okay. Number 2 on Lunce's list here. Whew. My gosh.
Speaking of Gabagool,
No,
I don't even know what that means.
It's
Why
gonna-
is that a setup for number 2?
it's going to be He-Man. Whoever did the voice of the...
Oh, gosh. Let's see.
who we
tense.
got? We got
The rock
Michael-
star stuff is hysterical. Is it Michael Scott? It is Michael
okay,
Scott.
Michael
name.
Scott.
I think this is definitely worthy
Yes.
of being on the board because
Correct.
Rockstar, you've been on the record before saying that when Michael Scott left the show, you did too.
I did. It's one of those things where I don't even think I gave it a shot once I saw the Will Ferrell episode, and I was like, oh, man, Will Ferrell's good, but he's just so over the top, and you don't need 2 of these guys. And then whenever James Spader came, I didn't even give it a shot. I thought Michael Scott was so crucial to that whole cast is great, but it all revolves around Michael Scott and their reactions to Michael Scott. So once he left, I was like, there's just no hope for it. And I'm surprised they kept it, what at least 3 more seasons.
two more seasons.
Two
after
more
that.
seasons without Steve Carell, which is
I
crazy.
think I just finished another rewatch of it. That's by far the show I've rewatched the most in from beginning to end. I mean, I watch Family Guy every night, but it's not like beginning to end. And I think the final 2 seasons have worth. They are just not near as good.
Well,
I think it's worth watching. If you've never watched it before, at least once to go through and see how the story ultimately ends for literally everybody else.
what makes this so good is I've watched the original Office too, even though it was two seasons. But David Brent, played by Ricky Gervais, is such an ass, and but how Steve Carell developed, I'm not going to do the exact same character, but I'm going to be just as awkward. It's amazing transition. So I think they make the Office from the British Office, which is such a great show that people think you're superior. Like, oh, the British Office. I think they're both great, but they're great in different ways.
I've gone through The Office just once, but Office fanatics have gone through countless times. They're still going through it. I think that there is a craving for a reunion series, a reunion show, but I just don't think you can ever get those
you can't.
pieces to reignite that in that
Reunion,
setting.
yes. Reboot, no. But it seems like they're trying to go the reboot route,
Yeah.
and that does not need to happen.
But
Also, I would include Dwight as my honorable mention on this. I feel like almost every character on that show could have probably been played by somebody else, except Rainn Wilson playing Dwight.
we have Jeff who writes in those last 2 seasons without Carell were different, but they were good. They were so outlandish trying to make up for Carell being gone.
I'd agree.
We have Ush who writes in, I hope we can agree that Office seasons that are the best are seasons 2 through 5.
Correct.
And Jeff also says he's seen the entire thing 20 or 30 times. No kidding. It is a comfort show.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that the rights on it will continuously be up for grabs. Fans will have their hearts pulled out when the series gets removed from streaming and then pops up somewhere else where they have to subscribe. The best thing you can do probably is own this on physical media, because if you're an Office fanatic, you want the chance to be able to watch it whenever you want to watch it.
I would hope now with Peacock, it's set for a while.
They may
mean,
give the rights up.
I know they haven't done it with all their shows.
They did it before.
Wasn't Seinfeld an NBC show? It's
Seinfeld
Netflix.
was on Hulu was a big deal. Then it went from Hulu to now it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
When The Office left Netflix,
Yeah.
it was an absolute uproar. And
I've probably done a full rewatch counting Netflix and Peacock 7 times.
Yep.
Since it happened, seasons 1 through 9.
Nick says Parks and Rec is better than The Office. There, I said it.
It's a great show too.
It is.
But I can't. They have a great ensemble cast too. I like how it's so much different. But I don't think it's better than The Office.
I think they complement each other.
Yes,
really
they
well.
do.
I don't feel like
They're
you have to
better-
have a war. They're under the same umbrella.
They're good in different ways. They're,
Right.
Yeah.
They're good in different ways. We can celebrate both, but there are Office people and there
If
are
it's
Parks
not
and Rec
George
people.
Costanza.
Number 1 on Lunce's list. Here we go. This is the big. What's going to be better than? Oh my
no.
gosh! This is
I
why I
dis-
went to the board.
We'll start talking about it. I'll just put number 1.
Okay.
I
I said
disagree.
that they could both coexist and all that
No,
stuff.
I disagree with it.
This is so wrong. Ron Swanson over Michael Scott.
Ron Swanson,
For the-
I think, is one of the single best TV characters, and Nick Offerman himself is Ron Swanson in
It is.
actuality.
It's a great character. But here, let me ask you something. If he was not cast in that show, would that show miss a beat?
Yes.
There was not a Ron. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I just went through this whole thing about how these two properties can get along. It's really not as big of a rivalry as everyone makes it out to be. But John, you just made it a much bigger rivalry, and I'm not sure.
Like a rivalry. I've rewatched Parks and Rec probably as many times too. It's just,
Did you think this would not be controversial? Did you think this would just be celebrated?
Well,
the
no,
1
I'm
and
sure,
2?
like-
Talking about the 1 and 2 spot.
I mean,
It's going to be a
that
divisive
they're on the list at all, or that they're that high.
No, that you have
Or that
the
they're
placement.
together.
No, you have the placement 1
I
and 2.
like Parks and Rec better. The Office has more rewatchability.
I think a better character than Ron Swanson that makes the show go is Chris Pratt. What the hell's his name's character? Oh my God. Andy Dwyer. No, that's Office.
Yeah.
Mouse Rat.
Andy.
Doesn't matter. But him, Burt Macklin, when he plays the FBI agent, I think the show revolves more around him than it does Ron Swanson. Ron Swanson has the one-liners about eating beef and hunting and stuff like that, but then Andy's the funny part of the show.
I would just like to say the chat is all completely agreeing with me right now.
No, they're very divided. Very divided here.
That's a strong list, Lunce. Lunce nailed it for this exercise. John is right. He's literally Ron Swanson.
Did you?
I
see,
was about to say, what
didn't-
messages were you
you didn't
reading,
see
Tim? I
Justin?
didn't
I'm
see
literally
any
reading
of
the
them.
last 3 messages that were
you
sent.
didn't see Justin there? I agree, Tim. Michael over Ron. You didn't see that one?
And that's why Parks and Rec
saw
is
that
better than
one.
The Office. I agree.
That's called selective editing, is what you just
You
did.
picked the one
I
out of the
would-
last 5 that I read.
I would have read it all.
Okay, let me read them all.
No,
the entire
you already
character is
did.
built on his personal life. Behind that, I thought it was a better series. The rules are more complicated on Lunce's list than the game. That's true. For this exercise, John is right. He's literally Ron Swanson. That is a strong list, Lunce. Lunce nailed it. Then you get, okay, I agree, Tim. I like Michael better. And then you get, okay, that's why Parks and Rec is better than The Office. Yes, I agree.
Well, if he's literally Ron Swanson, Michael Richards is literally Kramer.
Okay,
100%.
No, that actually makes him a strong.
I feel like we've made
a
it-
point, Rockstar.
Yeah, I mean, like, just because they're that character. Pee Wee Herman is Pee Wee.
But that's what this list is.
This
This
list
is not the 5 best TV characters. This is the 5 best that embodied were cast in that character.
That's fair.
Ron Swanson and Nick Offerman are identical people.
Here's
And I'll throw out George Costanza because he was made to embody Larry David,
what I
and
threw
he
out, but
does
he
that.
didn't say it.
So why wasn't it Larry David? Y'all are saying you like George better. You're not saying that
He played it better than Larry David would have played it, which is a character.
I don't disagree with that either.
Yes.
But he's not. But I think you're going off. That's a better show and a better
Got
character.
one for you.
I think I wasn't prepared for the emotional sort of feeling I would have of being a Michael Scott defender over a Ron Swanson defender for those two actors doing what they did in those roles.
Best fit for a character, real quick. Last thing I'll say: George Costanza, stuff like that. What has Jason Alexander done after that? What is he most known for?
I think he was in a
Shallow Hal.
McDLT commercial.
Shallow Hal, where he had a tail.
Playing
Because
poker.
he is casted as I can't get George Costanza out of my. Nick Offerman did an amazing role in
But Steve
Last of
Carell's
Us.
one of the biggest box office
Yeah.
draws
Correct.
of the past 20
So, yeah,
years
so
in
that kills-
comedy.
that's-
So that kills that
In
argument.
that case, Michael Scott shouldn't be on the list.
well, my argument is Jason Alexander has done nothing. Nothing has succeeded because he is George Costanza.
Maybe the role wasn't as good as y'all are thinking it is. Then
He had that
Just
Jason
throwing it out
Alexander
there.
show after Seinfeld, but that
Tyler
lasted
just
a
proved
whole
my
2
point.
seasons.
I'm mostly a Seinfeld hater because my wife loves it so much and she doesn't really care about Family Guy and stuff I like. But I'm not saying they're bad characters.
No, the thing that's making me the angriest is that you may be right. That's the thing that's making me the angriest. Is
I
that
may be right.
Every time I make an argument in my own head, like you
If
may
I just
be
did like
right.
the 5 best TV characters, 1, maybe 2 of those probably would have made the list.
Yeah, you're
Probably Michael Scott would have made the list, and
probably
maybe
right.
maybe Saul Goodman for me, maybe Tony Soprano, but I don't know.
I just didn't think
Because my number 6 would definitely be on the list. I'm probably the rest of them. Number 10 may make the list if it was just best TV characters. I have a lot more that I went through, but
give us 6 through 10, or throw out some more honorable mentions here for people that almost made the top 5.
Jason Alexander's not on the.
I didn't think it would be.
mention.
Then we're going to send this one home.
Number 6. This made me a believer in this person and somebody that whenever they're in literally anything, I want to watch them. And we never mentioned them talking Batman. I was waiting for it to be mentioned because it's like, this is the one I ended up leaving off the list, is Jeffrey Wright playing Bernard on Westworld. Yep. I think that's the single best twist in entertainment history that what he finds out in season 1. And then my honorable mention for Westworld is also Ed Harris being the Man in Black. I thought that was a perfect casting for him. Number 7, Frasier. I was not a religious watcher of Cheers or Frasier back in the day. My parents always had it on, and he is somebody that when I see him, I say Frasier, not Kelsey Grammer.
Jason Alexander.
Plus, how many series has he played Frasier in? I mean, just so many different ones.
He's played in multiple series, and he's somebody who's had a career afterwards that I would still say is, you still look at him and say Frasier, even when you see him playing Beast and X-Men.
McHale's Davey.
I like McHale's Navy. Number 8, Sue Sylvester from Glee, which is Jane Lynch's character in Glee. I was all in on the first couple seasons, then it got weird, and I kind of jumped off of it, but I thought she was perfect for that role.
That's like me with the trivia game. I was all in for the first couple of spins, then it got weird, and I jumped off of it.
Yeah. But I think Jane Lynch is a pretty good actress overall. She's really great on Only Murders in the Building, too. Number 9, Wednesday with Jenna Ortega. I feel like that is a perfect casting for that character, for a character that overall I'd say is pretty big. The Addams Family I'd say is pretty big. And then number 10, Brian Cox playing Logan Roy on Succession. The 2 I just couldn't find a place for were Fonzie with Henry Winkler and Olivia Benson from Law & Order SVU, that I think are 2 very well cast characters. Yeah, but overall, I couldn't talk myself into putting them higher than the top 10.
Well, there we have Lunce's list. A couple of you are writing like Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother.
Doogie Howser.
That's from that guy. Jody, I'm going to go with their number 1. Mads Mikkelsen is Hannibal Lecter. And I'll be honest, he's fantastic in that role.
I've heard a lot of people rave about it. Obviously, that's not a thing I'm going to watch.
Fantastic in that role. And it's a role that has been defined by Anthony Hopkins, and you can't see anybody else in it. And then you watch the television version. Mads Mikkelsen gives you everything you could possibly need out of that role of Hannibal Lecter for the television series, and he knocks it out of the park. So that's a great choice there. You have Walter Goggins being thrown out from Justified.
I like him as Baby Billy better.
Richard in the chat threw out Danny DeVito from Always Sunny.
See, I'm not an Always Sunny person.
I'm a major Always Sunny person.
I like
and
the people
it's
from
one
it.
of the best characers ever.
I like Charlie Day, Rob McElhaney, Danny DeVito. I just don't really care about the show.
You have Sheldon being thrown out for Big Bang Theory, and I've never been a Big Bang Theory fan.
I should be because of all the nerd culture in it and everything, but the Big Bang Theory is nerd culture for my parents, not for me.
Right. That's fair, I think. That's fair. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of The Meltdown. John, we want to thank our title sponsor. That is MyBookie.
MyBookie.ag is promo code next round. Go in there and play some NBA college basketball as the tournaments are starting up today, and at least the bigger tournaments are starting up like the SEC today. You can go play those there. You can play NHL. You can play anything you want to, even play live casino games. Go to MyBookie.ag. Use promo code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with our friends at MyBookie.
I would like to congratulate Tony Soprano on winning the silver medal in the trivia
thank you
game
very much.
today.
It's been a good day. We're gonna go to the Bada Bing, see my girls. You know what I'm saying? It's been a good day.
I just wanted that one more time, and I got it. If I could just get that inside of a dining room at Culver's, I would be in heaven. That would be fantastic. The Culver's Butter Burger, make sure you check it out. If you haven't had one of those, it is delicious. Stop by Culver's. Tell them The Meltdown sent you either at Culver's of Birmingham or Culver's of Hoover. This has been The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting from the Culver's studio.